Hey guys, how's it going? It's Sunkler, and today I'm going to show you how to make a really cool bass, better known as the Purple Lamborghini Joink. Very easy using Vital, so let's go into our DAW and get started with this tutorial. So here I loaded up a instance of Vital, a initialized patch. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by choosing here some wavetables. I'm going to use some analog for Vital wavetables by Black Lotus Audio because it has some really nice overtones in the shape here. So if I play you here, it has some really nice harmonics from that real analog recording because this pack was made using analog sounds. I'm going to choose here a square wave for the first oscillator, and I'm going to choose a triangle wave for the second oscillator. And we're going to lower the first oscillator 24 semitones, and I'm going to raise the second oscillator 12 semitones, and for every 12 semitones it's 1 octave. So what I did is I lowered 2 octaves on the first oscillator and I raised 1 octave on the first oscillator. And it sounds really cool as it is as a sustained bass, but we're not doing that today. So I'm going to turn down the level here, and turn down the level here. I'm going to start by creating a LFO shape here. I'm going to set it as envelope just to trigger it once so that it triggers every time I press the key but doesn't loop. And I'm going to go here into the second knob and choose FM from oscillator 2. I'm going to lower it down around perhaps 25. And the reason I chose a square wave over the second triangle wave, which sounds more accurate, is because I'm going to add some filtering and I want that extra overtones and extra harmonics. Because now I'm going to go here into filter number 1. I'm going to set it to 24 dB. I'm going to and you can already hear what I was talking about. It has that extra harmonics, that extra depth in the sound without actually adding much. I'm going to add also here and set it to filter 1 a white noise. And right now it sounds a little bit quiet. It doesn't sound punchy, doesn't sound powerful, and that's because we're going to add now some processing. I'm going to start by adding a compressor. And as you can see, playing around with the attack and release sort of changes the way the compressor works. So playing around with it by ear is the best way to achieve the best results. Right now, I like it with a really long release. I'm going to add after that some distortion just to boost the sound a little bit, so it makes it a little bit louder. And I'm going to add some chorus to make it more detuned in the high, low, after the low end, everything right after the low end. I'm going to give it a little bit of stereo information so it sounds wider, sounds bigger. I'm going to add a EQ before the compressor. And what I'm doing here is I'm adding a little bit of a vowel to the tone so that it has a more vowel-y, more vocal sound. I'm going to add another 24 dB filter, but this time this one's going to go all the way up and all the way down. And this is just basically going to cut that excess artifacts that might be produced. And I added also some reverb just to give it a little bit more of that depth and more space into the sound. And now we can add, for example, a sub bass here. So I'm going to add a extra basic shapes here. I'm going to set it to the direct out. I'm going to add a second oscillator for this one, a second LFO for this one, but instead it's going to follow a different shape. It has a little bit too much harmonics for my taste, so I can add now a low pass. And as you can see, this spectral low pass starts removing the actual harmonics instead of the frequencies. It's a really cool feature here in Vital. And we can call it a day and leave it here, but now we can go really crazy and go into the post-processing. And we can start by adding some OTT, which is a classic effect used in this kind of bass, and it helps and really brings out a lot. I like to disable the upward compression and give it a little bit less depth so it's not that aggressive. And then I like to add some EQing. And I'm trying to find the annoying frequencies, and I'm cleaning up a little bit of those overtones that aren't pleasant to the bass. So I know that area here, it is a bit boomy, a bit boxy, and I don't want all that. Now we can start adding more effects to make it louder. So for example, we can add some distortion. This one's a bit too aggressive, so I'm going to set it to overdrive and play around with it. We can add more OTT, but be it a little bit more subtle. We can add some more reverb, and what I like to do is I like to use something like this. And it's very subtle, but it really brings life into the bass. We can clean it up even more with some more EQing. And we can add finally the final saturation here using this preset. So this preset is very easy. I just create this, disable all the bands and only use the master compressor. I add 6 dBs of gain. And then I cut the excess peaks using this saturator here. We can crank up the distortion a little bit more. Or we can add more pre-gain here. Depending how clean or distorted you want the sound. It's very easy to create variations on this. So now I can go into Vital and start adding macros here. And now you can hear the difference of using the triangle wave and the square wave. It doesn't sound as powerful or as punchy as I wanted. And then the saw wave here has way too much overtones and too much harmonics. So I find that the square wave is the most appealing one. We can also change here. And lastly, you can make a really cool bass stab using Vital and Analog for Vital by Black Lotus Audio. So thank you, Black Lotus Audio, for sponsoring this video. Analog for Vital provides some really cool real analog wavetables for you to use in Vital. This is a really cool box and it's really affordable. So I'm going to leave a link down in the description. And if you use coupon code SoundKiller20, you can get a 20% discount on this very affordable pack. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. As always, like and subscribe so that I know that you guys enjoy the content. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.